Ryan, if you could take me back to growing up in Southwest Virginia, Lebanon High School. What was kind of your goals, aspirations as you were going through high school, and then obviously moving on to Wofford?
Sure. I wish I had probably better goals. I just enjoyed, I was just thinking about it, over the last few weeks, really just kind of where I've been able to get to and the fortunate opportunities I've had. But some of the stuff growing up in Lebanon was just an overwhelming support group from my family and also the community. When you're able to grow up in a small town that way, and I was fortunate to be halfway decent, I guess, in a few sports, and um, it just the support from like I said, the community element and also the number of coaches that, you run into and that help develop you, teach you lessons that you don't quite realize till later on, maybe. It was just a unique place. And I think where we live now in Tennessee, where my family is, it's got a small town feel to it. So there's a lot of stuff on Friday nights when I go to my son's games. Kind of feels the same. You see everybody from the town, and it's just really a unique place. And to have the fortunate opportunity to go to Wofford and play, um, there are a lot of things that were new and unknown, and I was able to go with my high school teammate Travis Brightfield. That we went together, and shoot, it was a great 4 years. And I look at that decision and say somewhere that had something to do with the decision or the opportunity I got after college. So there's nothing quite like high school football. Even you talk to guys on our team now and teams I've been a part of in the NFL, and guys still will talk about their high school careers. It's just a unique time in your life.
I would imagine you touched on all the coaches that have influence on you, but one in particular that did it for so long at Lebanon was Doc Adams. What kind of impact did he have on you as a person?
Um, Probably don't even have good enough words. Tremendous. Um, from being my middle school gym teacher to, for some reason, asking me to become the bat boy when I was in seventh, eighth grade, and got to go on the varsity bus, to all the baseball games. Um, Doc's name for me was Cowman. But just it was just a unique relationship that he pushed me. I think he was very hard on me, and for all good reasons. I think he saw something in me that maybe at times I didn't see in myself, and he was uh, he was tremendously impactful in my high school years, and really still to this day as I reach out to him. So.
Did he chatter as much back then as he did even, in his later days?
Absolutely. I don't know that there was a time that he wasn't, you know what I mean? I think that was part of the deal. So um, to hear him get riled up, and whether it was practice, whether it was a game, whether it was towards your own team, whether it was aimed at a teammate, but the energy, and you're not going to find a guy who was more passionate about what he did and for how long he did it. I was able to go back a few years ago and catch a baseball game and took my family, and nothing had changed. As soon as the game's over, Doc's on the riding mower dragging the field, still doing the same things and making sure all the trash is picked up. And he's just really passionate about sports, about youth sports, and he's had an impact on a lot of people over the years.
When you graduated from Wofford, you got an opportunity as a scout with the Carolina Panthers. 25, 26 years later, you're still in the NFL. How would you describe your journey over the last quarter century throughout what many people aspire to in the NFL?
What an unbelievable ride! I'm extremely fortunate to have been given an opportunity out of college, and then it's one of those deals you hear about. If you get an opportunity, do everything you can to hold on to it. And that's really all I've done. I've always tried to be, I've never worried about the next job. To me, I've always worried about the one that I'm doing. How am I performing the duties that are asked of me? Am I learning from others? How's my relationship, in the personnel world and coaches, you're kind of your own team, if you will. How do I lead amongst my team? And it's been really cool. I've had the fortune to, for a lot of years in Carolina, I worked with Brandon Bean, who's the general manager for the Buffalo Bills. Him and I worked together for 16 years. Joe Shane, who's the general manager for the New York Giants. Joe and I worked together for 9 years, and just a number of other people and coaches that um, I've had the fortune to be a part of some teams with those guys. And I tell you, it's I don't really know how to put it in words. It's just been a unique opportunity that um, I don't take it for granted one day after 26 years. I don't take it for granted one day since.
Can you speak to the relationships of once you kind of get in that circle there? Obviously, you were in Tennessee with Coach Vrabel. I'd assume it's not a coincidence that when you had an opportunity to get to New England, it was because he was up there as well.
Yeah, we hired Mike in 2018 in Tennessee. I'd been there a couple years. We felt like we needed to make a change on the coaching staff. Mike came in, interviewed great, and did a great job. And I'm really proud of what we collectively were able to do over those years in Tennessee. Felt like we put a winner on the field. Things weren't perfect. They hardly ever are, or they're not going to be. But it was a team that was winning, and some decisions that aren't under our control. Ownership made a different decision, in towards the end of the run there, and uh, I was fortunate enough to take over as the interim GM in 2022. And when they made a different decision in the spring of 23, it was probably best that I get out of the way and let the person they hired do that. And Mike was there for another year, and I had an opportunity to go to New York and work. And then for us to be able to reconnect here in New England, um, it was a part of. I'm really honored that he would want me to be a part of this, and that he trusts me and values, I think, the things I bring to the organization. And that's all I've tried to do here for, I guess, almost a little over a year on the job now, is try to bring that same mentality here and be a great teammate, and find ways I can help this football team.
When you meet people and they ask, "What do you do?" and the vice president of player personnel, what do you tell people that job entails when they ask?
Make a lot of stuff up. No, what it is it's this overarching. Your foot's in a lot of areas. You're in a lot of buckets, if you will. Whether that's your daily roster management of your own football team, um, leaning into and leading the pro department as they're scouting street free agent players, upcoming unrestricted free agents, guys on other clubs, practice squad players. And then also at the same time, you're staying up to speed on the college side of things. Whatever college staff that's out looking at players for the following draft, well, you've got to kind of be ready for that too. So, and for me, I still enjoy going and seeing players live. So I find a way to get out and go see a number of colleges live during the fall. So it's just that um, staying connected in all those areas, whether it's your own football team, constant communion with the coaching staff, daily solutions to problems that arise during the season, the pro staff, making sure you know what's going on over there, leading that group, and in the college group. And I rely so much on the staff and the hard work that whole both pro college, what those guys do. It's a lot of work, and I lean on them constantly for just to get us to where we need to go.
I would imagine it's a good problem to have, but getting ready for the Super Bowl, I know it's also senior week, so you probably are kind of balancing looking ahead to next year, but also wanting to try and enjoy where you guys are at presently.
Yeah, you said it. It's a good problem to have. You'll take it, right? Some teams you sit there and go, some teams have been done for a month now. And I think what it always does is it tries to make you focus in and make sure you stay up with your processes as we go, because the free agency calendar is still moving in the background. The draft calendar is still moving in the background. We were able to sneak down for 2 days for two sets of practices and one morning of interviews at the Senior Bowl, back up in Foxborough now before we fly to California tomorrow. But it's you're just trying to make sure you you juggle all the things that you got going on. And that's again why I'll come back to leaning into staff and how important it is that you lean into the people that you hire to support you, and not me, but support the organization and our team, all working together.
This will be the third Super Bowl you've been a part of, two with the Panthers. Did not get a win in either one of them. You mentioned, though, this one's going to be in the same place 10 years later when you were with Carolina in Super Bowl 50. 10 years later, Super Bowl 60, same spot. What's it like to be a part of three Super Bowls? I'm sure growing up, that was beyond your wildest dreams in Lebanon, Virginia.
Yeah, you said it, beyond the wildest dreams. Thanks for bringing up that remote for two. Appreciate that. But hey, look, it's and they've been both unique games. I mean, the unique part is the first one is If you go back in Super, I think it's 38. We lose to New England in Houston, and the ironic part about that is the head coach that you just mentioned had 2 sacks, one of those being a forced fumble, and he also caught a touchdown in that game. So Vrabes doesn't miss an opportunity to remind me of that. Um, but yeah, to go back, especially for this one to be at a place that I've been with my family before. So I have pictures of me and my wife and my 2 kids and at Super Bowl 50 in Santa Clara, and to be able to recreate kind of a new memory, hopefully one with where the confetti's our colors, not somebody else's. It's really special, and this is hard to do. I've got friends and colleagues that have been in this business just as long as I have, and some have barely been in the playoffs. And I've been fortunate enough to go to a third Super Bowl now, and I think there was an opportunity to go to 2 more that we didn't quite get there. But it's um, it's awesome, Case. Like it really is. There's no greater feeling. Probably the greater feeling will be if we can find a way to have one more point in Seattle next week.
Do you take the role of, in terms of people from where you grew up, or even know? I mean, I don't know. I talked to Justin Hamilton last night, and I couldn't find anybody that has ever been from our area of Northeast Tennessee or Southwest Virginia that has coached in a Super Bowl or as an executive for
Mm.
yourself. I found players, but obviously no executive or coaches. Do you take that as a way to kind of the younger generation as, hey, you can do anything if you put your mind to it? I mean, opening up doors. You and Justin, 2 examples of that.
Yeah, it's Jay him and I. He's great. We talk a lot about the area we're from and how unique it is. Not only that we're both in the National Football League on some stuff, but then now we're on the same team, and then even narrow it down to a team that's going to the Super Bowl. Like it's pretty wild. I think yes, to answer your question, I think Coach Norris had asked me to send a video before the season started to the football team at Lebanon, and in some of that, it talked about opportunities and how you don't ever know what's going to come, or especially you don't know how what impression you have on someone, the way you act, the way you carry yourself, and those things lead to opportunities that, and in my own case, they led to opportunities that I would have never imagined where that was going to go. But it is. It's we talk to play. We talk about it with players when we're scouting. Like it doesn't matter where you are, we'll find you. You can be don't have to be at Ohio State or Michigan or whatever. You can be at small schools. Um, we'll find you. And I think that's the same idea is it doesn't matter kind of where you come from. There's elements of hard work and you know, I think that still kind of is where it all starts. Just do that and you don't know what opportunities might come your way.
Next Sunday at the Super Bowl, what's it going to be like for you? You mentioned your family, hopefully recreate a photo, but being on the field before the game, but then also during the game, what is it like for you? Obviously, watching it, having no ability to impact what's going to happen once that ball kicks off. Is it, I'm assuming when you played, you like that better because you kind of had some control over what could happen. But when you're up in the suite, it's probably very nerve wracking to say the least, I would imagine.
Yeah, and this one will be a little different. My role in Carolina at the time was still on the scouting staff, so I was actually in the stands, with my family. This one's a little different because of my role that I occupy now and kind of where I'll be. And but you're right, it's this coaching staff and Coach Vrabel does a great job of preparing these guys every week, and they'll be extremely prepared. But once the once that kickoff starts, there's really nothing. And we say it all the time. Ultimately, it comes down to the players on the field. And like I said, Coach Vrabel will have these guys prepared for every scenario, and you just hope that they lean into that because you want them to cut it loose and they control those 3 hours on Sunday. So it's nerve wracking. It's you live the life to some degree of a fan just the same because of the emotion. You just have a little different investment in it. But I'm excited to watch these guys go compete. They've competed all year. It's a resilient group. Every year when you build a roster, you don't know how they're going to come together as a team. And this is the ultimate team sport. And I've just been so proud to watch this group really come together and play as a team, which to me is what it's all about.